Welcome back to another part of Ark Geographics. Last time, we've seen some parts of the beautiful Viking Bay and some of its creatures. And today, we will check out even more. Not Viking Bay in particular, but more of the surrounding and unique biomes and landscapes. Let's start over at this gateway-like shaped rock formation. This place is used by several creatures for cooling down during the time when the sun is at her highest point. If we go a little bit further, you can see some sort of a river that leads into the ocean water of this bay. To this river belongs a big waterfall. To its left and right side there are giant ribs, those used to belong to a gigantic ancient creature. But behind that waterfall is something mysterious. A giant hidden cave with a big lake inside it as well. Inside of this cave, there aren't that many creatures. But the most common creatures that live here are the koel and the saber-toothed salmon. Both are prehistoric ancestors of modern-day freshwater fish. The koel actually is a coward and swims away as fast as possible when attacked. Saber-toothed salmon, on the other hand, fights back with an entire swarm of its kind whenever it gets attacked. We go higher up, we can see a very flat area with some interesting creatures. This is no other than the Megalosaurus, a theropod which is only awake at night. During the night, this dinosaur is very aggressive and usually attacks everything in its sight. Even bigger herbivores such as the Brontosaurus. With its strong jaw, it's capable of picking up smaller creatures and slowly rips them into pieces. But during the day, it will go back to its sleeping place and sleep until the night comes back. We go out of that cave, we can see the dead end of Viking Bay. Literally, because of the biome on top of this little cliffside. This area is completely different than all the other biomes around Viking Bay. Let's take a closer look. Although the trees are dead, small plants can still grow in this biome. But they're not a good food source, and that's why there are no herbivores. But for some reason, carnivores. The most common creature here is the vulture, very similar to the ones we have on Earth. This bird is of course a scavenger and usually feeds on corpses of dead animals. The vulture is a very friendly carnivore, but as soon as it smells a corpse it will aggressively fly towards the dead body. Another but aggressive carnivore that lives here is the pack-hunting theropod known as Allosaurus. Even one of them is deadly, but in a pack of usually 3, they're one of the most feared carnivores on this island. Almost nothing has a chance against them. With their razor-sharp teeth, they can inflict massive bleeding wounds on their prey, but usually they just rip it into pieces. The oldest and strongest Allosaurus always is the pack leader. The other 2 in his pack have to do whatever he wants, but thanks to him, the pack will always get its meal. If we go up even further, we can clearly see a snowy biome on top of this mountain, but this will be something for another episode. The final biome we will check out in this episode of Ark Geographics is going to be this open grassland. Tall grass is a perfect place for small creatures, such as the Lystrosaurus, a little herbivore that's basically a snack for most predators. One carnivore that lives here, and also one of the biggest, is the Carcharodontosaurus, an aggressive and fast theropod, which is capable of killing almost everything. A Bronto isn't a big deal for him. This creature is one of the most feared carnivores on this entire island. And of course, even the Stegosaurus, with its spikes on the tail, cannot defend itself against this monster. The Carcharodontosaurus can easily break bones like a toothpick. Its roar alone is so devastating that it can stun smaller creatures. The Carcharodontosaurus is so aggressive that it even attacks smaller carnivores, such as the Carnotaurus. But there's one herbivore that can kill a Carcharodontosaurus, and this is no other than the gigantic Brachiosaurus, a behemoth of an herbivore, the titan of this island. It may not be the longest, but the tallest herbivore on this island. Sometimes they are alone, but also can be found in herds. If they're alone, they can defend themselves very easy. Also, not every predator is brave enough to challenge this behemoth, because one stomp with those massive feet and most creatures are dead. The Brachiosaurus has to fight. He will stand up on his hind legs and crush the opponent with all of his weight. A devastating attack that shatters rock, break bones and rip the ground itself apart. But thankfully, this titan is friendly and only fights when it needs to do. Usually, this creature even ignores smaller carnivores, just because not everyone wants to attack this gigantic creature. Usually, this giant spends his time looking for food in the tall trees, and is a very peaceful creature. Now those biomes are only few that can be found on the island Ragnarok. Join us in the next episode, where we will enter the snowy peaks of the mountains. We will also check out the mysterious castle and the swamp that's surrounding it, and take a closer look at some very interesting creatures. I hope you liked the second episode of Ark Geographics. Please leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more.